Richard Fisher. You want to do with this one, Emil? Richard Fisher in 2010, 2011?
Regarding that they were purchasing assets that the market was running to already.
Yes.
So these things are in demand.
The Fed wasn't putting a floor under the Treasury price. The market was already buying Treasuries before the Fed ever started. And it became a point of contention in FOMC discussions because they were like, we don't really affect the Treasury price because the market is buying them during these periods where collateral is scarce. So we didn't need the Fed to buy them. In fact, the Fed was lamenting the fact that they were buying, I think what Richard Fisher says, why are we buying assets the market's already running toward? What central banks are supposed to be doing are buying assets that people are running away from, which is not what happened at all. And again, that wasn't really the purpose of quantitative easing to begin with. Quantitative easing has three theoretical channels. The first is this psychology sentiment hokum. The second is supposed to be portfolio effects, which is you're a dealer. I just took a Treasury off your balance sheet. Now you got to go find a riskier asset to replace it. Otherwise, you aren't going to earn as much money. But as we know from 20 some odd years of Japanese history in QE, as well as our own experience with QE in Europe, banks don't do that. You take the Treasury from their balance sheet, they replace it with a Treasury. So it becomes this churn into the Federal Reserve's hand where the Fed is neither creating portfolio effects, nor is it influencing bank behavior at all. So it's not really affecting the real economy or the Treasury marketplace. And the final is the interest rate effect, which as study after study after study has shown, Emil, remember the one we just did, meta study not long ago we just went over, where the buying of U.S. Treasury securities does not change the interest rate by all that much, according to their own academic scholarship. I think the most recent one, which was from a year ago or a couple of years ago, they said that a $600 billion, QE2 sized asset purchase program in the U.S. Treasury market reduces the 10-year long run U.S. Treasury rate by, drum roll, 15 basis points. So none of the three channels for quantitative easing actually leads to easing, and it's not really quantitative if you have to do it more than one time. And the reason is because the Fed is not a central bank in the way people think. We have this other monetary system with its own monetary problems where the Fed is just doing what the Fed can do, which has nothing to do with the actual monetary system. But what really happens is post Paul Volcker and the Volcker myth, what really they're thinking, the theory behind all of this is that the Fed thinks if I can convince you, or that you believe anyway, that quantitative easing is money printing, that the level of bank reserves somehow relates to adding high-powered money, then you'll act as if I've just created a wave of money that's going to lead to inflation. And so even though I haven't really created any money, if you think I have, and you start acting like you think inflation's coming, that's really what the Fed is intending to accomplish through QE, to fool people into believing that inflation is a real thing and start acting and so that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And because the world really doesn't work that way, that's why QE never really led to any results. Why the Japanese are on, QE 24, QE 25, because you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.